Right, use this one. Okay? Renault is nothing if not innovative.
Sometimes it works, like in 1984 when Renault basically invented the MPV segment, that's the people carrier to you and I, with the Renault Espace. And sometimes it doesn't work, like when it invented a people carrier style executive hatchback thingy, and also invented a people carrier style coupe thingy.
Today, the Velsatis and Aventime are like later Radiohead albums, the ones after OK Computer. If you want to sound cool, you have to say you like them, but you wouldn't want to actually spend any time or money on them. You'd much rather be listening to something middle of the road, like the Oasis.
Thankfully for Renault, in 1997 the company invented something else. By shrinking down the Espace a bit, sort of, the Renault Scenic was born, as was the compact MPV segment. This was music to Middle England's ears. Quite literally. Listen. Oh, remember the lightning seeds? Anyway, for the following 10 years, the compact MPV did great. Until... Yep, then this Mac-made MPV slayer came along and changed everything. The MPV is dead. Long live the SUV type thing. Today though, Renault is fighting back. Look at this.
Alright, stop.
Alright, sorry. Bangcon 69, scenic walk around. A scenic walk around. Now it's taken 4 generations to get it here, but I reckon this Scenic is the best looking MPV there has ever been. Look at this curvy back screen here. And if you go down the side, it's got these scooped sections and this shallow window line, like an SUV. Come around the front, an aggressive grille. And then back around here, this car, it's not just on press specials, every Scenic is on 20-inch rims. Booyah! And so with an exterior this devastatingly exciting, I bet you can't wait to see what the inside's like. It's not quite as exciting in here, is it? Big though. What will we do? I know. Hello and welcome to a special edition of the News in 2 dedicated specifically to the Renault Scenic. Yep, over the next 2 minutes-ish, we'll blast through all the important consumery stuff that you expect to hear in a review of a car. What's wrong with this jacket like? Man, you're worse than the YouTubers, you. So first off, why 2 Scenics? Well, that's because there are 2 Scenics. Scenic and Grand Scenic. The former has 5 seats as standard and starts at 21,445. And the latter has a bit more space in the boot and 2 extra seats in the boot, and it costs from this much. Well, I like it. My mum likes it. Dad doesn't like it. Dad thinks I look like a right. Here are the boot stats of the 2 Scenics respectively. And here's a practical demonstration of the boot using the world's most horrific suitcase. Ugh. But it's not just about outright space. I mean, look at all these useful touches. Literally in this case, trim levels and engine choices are the same, starting at Expression and going up to Signature Nav. Now I know they're just meaningless words, but it doesn't matter because when you buy one, you'll go to the dealership and you'll just get the one that's got all the stuff in that you want. But in this case, that could be any of them. They all get 20-inch wheels, they all get dual zone climate control, automatic lights and wipers, emergency braking, good specs. The engine range comprises this one, and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And no surprise, our favourite is the diesel in the middle, because it'll give you a good 50 miles per gallon, and it's got enough power to pull the skin off a rice pudding. I know, I don't understand it either, but my dad says it all the time, so I thought I'd use it. Yeah, more good news is that the Scenic and Grand Scenic both come with 4-year, 100,000 mile warranties and fixed price servicing for just over 400 quid. Some more subjective stuff. The quality of this cabin is excellent, squishy, and there is naturally loads of space, not the pop group from the 90s. However, while you might look sweet rolling on your 20-inch wheels, it does mean that your tyre replacement costs go through the panoramic roof. Dead noisy, this jacket. It was a bad choice, okay, I'll admit it. In a fit of uncharacteristic investigative journalism, I rang a Renault dealership pretending to be a customer and asked about replacing the tyres on the car that you've just seen. The cost? The issue is choice. You can spend that much money on 16 or 17-inch tyres, But there's far more choice, so you can buy tyres for half the price for those size wheels, but you just can't for 20s. Okay, so that's your news in 2 Renault Scenic Edition. Back to the review. There you go, job's good. Do you want to go to IKEA for a hot dog?
Don't you need to drive it or something?
What? An MPV? We're doing great. Now, the thing about an SUV, especially the more recent crossover type ones, is that they have to have the facade of dynamic ability. So they end up being a bit firm and a bit fidgety. The good thing is there is no such requirement for that predilection with an MPV. Basically, the dynamic benchmark for a people carrier is an armchair. The result is that this is a really nice long distance car. It's nice and soft and squishy, and the steering wheel takes no effort to turn, even though it's got one of those pointless dynamic modes that makes the steering firmer. And the chairs, even though they look nice and sporty, are actually just really squishy. In fact, it's quite like driving a Citroen, in a good way, as in without the terrible ergonomics. And even though the massive wheels jar the ride quality slightly, you'd have to be in full road tester mode to notice it. I haven't got one of them. And this 1.5 litre diesel...
This is a 1.6.
Is it?
See what I mean?
And this 1.6 litre diesel engine is impressively quiet for a 1.6 litre diesel engine lugging around a massive car. This has got 130 horsepower and it is adequate. Now, when you drive a people carrier, adjectives like adequate are quite exciting. In fact, I'd go as far as to say, don't get too worked up, it's ample. Ample. There are, of course, some flaws though. All this glass means front visibility is really good, but the styling means that it's not so good at the back, especially around the side of the screen. And the flaws don't stop there. This glove box, for example, inexcusably tiny for a people carrier. Is it too much for me, a solicitous parent, to ask that a glove box will hold a handful of nappies? Yes, it is. And it has 3 full-size seats here, which is good, although the person that designed this particular convenience feature cannot have kids. And we have to talk about this massive touchscreen that you get with top-end versions, because Renault thinks it's great. It's better than most of them, but it's a bit clumsy the way it's been mounted. It looks a bit aftermarket, and sometimes it's not that intuitive. And also, it's got these touch buttons for the volume, and really, you do want a big knob for your volume, especially if you've got kids. When they start with their stream of consciousness and you need to turn the radio down quickly as they're going on and on and on about who would win in a fight between... And it doesn't even have any cup holders. Or does it? Ta-da! How cool is that? So what's so good about the Renault Scenic / Grand Scenic? Well, lots. It looks great, it's comfortable, it's massive, it looks great, and it looks great. Ford C-Max is probably slightly better to drive. Citroen C4 Picasso is a bit more comfortable. Volkswagen Touran's a slightly better quality, but this is the best all-rounder. And it's on 20s. Ah! They see me rolling. Is this the 130 horsepower one? I hope it is. I want to just check that it actually is. I'm sure it is.